here. That will go any moment. Awesome. Cool. We're live on YouTube. Steve, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining. This is a really full circle moment for me because I've spent the last 5 years of my career not only building apps, but watching your channel pretty much every single video that you post.
Thanks, man.
I've been an avid follower since you had like 10,000 subscribers, and I'd stay up at night and just kind of listen to the stuff that you talk about when it comes to App Store optimization, how you're helping indie app developers. And it used to be that like apps were really, really hard to get into because you had to learn like Swift, Kotlin, or Java to build, a mobile app. But since the last few years, since AI has gotten very sophisticated and some of these low code tools have come to market, it's never been easier to build a mobile app. So when you combine that technology trend with all the teachings that you have for free on your YouTube channel, like there's literally no way that you can't build a revenue generating mobile app. So I can't tell you how much this means to me to be on the same call as you and just be able to talk to you and yeah, intersect my love for building apps with your love for marketing apps. So welcome to Ambitious Labs. I'm thrilled to have you. For those of you who don't know Steve, I would love for you, Steve, to introduce yourself and tell the Ambitious Labs community who you are.
Yeah, well, I started this journey all in 2011, Aleem, and I started coding on the side. And I know how difficult it was. I tried to learn Objective C and Swift. It was way over my head. The, but it wasn't until I found this like cross-platform tool that no longer exists, but that's how I learned. It was built on JavaScript. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that you make it easy for people to build apps because that was the toughest thing for me. And once I started making those apps, it was making about $500 a month. Now I was doing this part-time and I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I sold cassette tapes. That's how old I am. I sold cassette tapes when I was
Oh,
in
damn.
elementary school. And so I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know what that journey looked like. Right. And it wasn't until I hit like my 33rd, I don't know, 32nd birthday that I was like, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start it on. I love listening to podcasts and I have apps. I think I'm sort of intersecting the two trends. And I thought podcasts were very saturated at the time.
Mm.
And so that's because I was listening to a lot of business podcasts. We're all early adopters. And so what I know now was like, oh, I was early on to the podcast trend and I was somewhat early on into the apps trend too. And I sort of intersected the two. But I started interviewing some of my heroes in the app space to learn from them so that I can take this $500 business and make it hopefully into a legitimate business that could support my lifestyle here in California. That did that, built an audience, and the audience started coming to me. I remember 3 months into launching the podcast, one of the early listeners, shout out to you, Amit. He was in India and he's like, Steve, I want to hire you. And I was like, what? I don't know anything, dude. And I told him that. He's like, no, I trust you. I've been listening to you. You seem like a very honest, transparent guy. Let I'd love to hire you. And here's a little tip I got from him. So he's like, Steve, can you give me your budget? And I was like, well, what if because he told me I've been talking to other agencies. I was like, what are they charging you? What are they quoting you? And he's like, 15,000 plus. And I was like,
What?
I'll do it for five. And then he's like, okay, well, can you put some proposals together about what you're going to do for that five? And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And so that
Oh,
if
my
you're
goodness.
already wondering what to charge, just ask. Sometimes you'll find a number because I would have probably came up with three or two. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would have come up with, but
For
I was like
sure.
five once I heard 15. And then slowly, 6 months after starting that journey, I quit that was May 2013. I quit my full-time job. Beginning of 2014, I did this full time. And now we have a team of 30 where we specialize in ASO, ASA, monetization, and meta ads too. So pretty much the full stack.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And who
Thanks,
are
man.
the entrepreneurs and types of apps that you help? Do you help like VC backed startups? Do you help like
Oh
indie
yeah.
entrepreneurs? Who do you help?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of our audiences are indie developers, so we're
Okay.
generally talking to the app founders. But yeah, we have bootstrap entrepreneurs, we have VC, we have one client that was funded by Kevin Rose,
Wow.
his VC firm, and Kevin connected us with this client. He's like, look, I saw your ASO stuff. Why don't you work with this client? And we were able to get connected with that client. So
Got
that
you.
was a trip, bro. Like when I was like, Kevin Rose reached out to what? Yeah. So it was a trip.
YouTube is mad powerful. My
Yeah,
channel isn't
man.
as big as yours, but even at 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, like
Facts.
I couldn't believe the types of people that were were reaching out to me. It's just crazy how much authority you have when you're on YouTube. So you help indie founders, you pretty much help everyone, but you primarily specialize in ASO. So for those of y'all who don't know what ASO is, it stands for App Store Optimization. You might have heard of SEO, like
Yeah.
search engine optimization for Google, but this is App Store Optimization. And a lot of people overlook this channel, but one stat that you probably know, Steve, that I found very exciting was I think there's only 3 million apps, between 3 and 4 million apps across both app stores. I could be slightly wrong, but there's only 3 or 4 million apps across both app stores, but there's over 1 billion websites on the internet.
Yeah.
So when you think about like the difference, and there's 7 billion smartphones. So there's 4 million apps to support 7 billion smartphones, meaning there's a huge shortage of apps to solve smartphone users' problems. And that also means that 7 billion people have access to the App Store where they're constantly searching for solutions to their problems. So if you can rank high for a very niche set of keywords, or uh, a niche set of keywords, or a very like well-defined like problem or a solution to a problem, you can get hundreds of downloads a day, thousands of downloads a day without spending any money on ads. I'd love for you to talk about that. What have you seen, and how much money could you make, and what have you seen in your experience by
Yeah.
not by just app store optimization, just straight ASO?
Yeah, I mean, man, we had one client. I mean, obviously they launched a long time ago. They were making $2 million a year, 1.4 on just iPad with ASO. They did no paid marketing at all, and about what was it, 600,000 on iPhone. So
Wow.
it was a kids app. So there's a huge, if you're launching a kids app, like really pay attention to the iPad, and iPad users tend to convert better, and ASO is a bit easier. So one app we recently acquired. I'm no longer part of this business, but anyways, I noticed that it was ranking really well for two keywords, and I knew the keywords were the search score was around 30, right? 35, 33,
Mhm.
something like that, and just two keywords I was ranking number one for. It was a very niche keyword, and so I reached out to the developer and I said, "Hey, would you be interested in buying it?" Because they were just charging a one-time fee of $3, right? We worked out a deal, and then we turned that $3 app into a $60 a year product because I knew that the competitors were charging that much, $60 a
Mm.
year. And so when we didn't change the features of the app, all we did was add the onboarding, show the paywall during the onboarding process, increase the price, and with just 100 downloads a day, we were generating $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And I didn't do
Wow.
anything to the new features. It was pretty much just adding the paywall and increasing the price. And so that's why I always say, like, I try to, and we did it with a couple of clients too. One of our other clients, I'll tell you this story. He's like, "Hey, Steve, I got an app. We've been working together for years, but he's like, I have an app idea." And I was like, "That is the dumbest idea ever." But I looked at our tools, and I'm happy to break it down for you. But I looked at the tools, and I was like, "Hey, hold on. There's actually search volume here. Do you want to go after these keywords?" He's like, "That's perfect. Let's call the app this thing." And so we called it the app thing. 16,000, or not 16,000, 1,600. So about roughly $2,000 within the first 21 days on launch, just
Wow.
using ASO. And then ultimately we got it to 42,000 within its first year. And then now it's over 15,000. He quit his job recently, and now he's doing apps full time. And so it was a long journey for him, but it worked out really well. Another client, we growth hacked certain things. We went from $200 a month to $7,000 a month with this growth hack, and then 90,000 the whole year, his first year. We worked with him in January 2024. Well, we started in
Damn.
December 2023. We did some growth hacks, some ASO, and we took it to 90,000 purely that.
That's
So look, it doesn't
absolutely
always
nuts.
sound this cool. This is the hit rate is very low, but we didn't spend much on marketing. Like, it's just ASO. And so
Mhm.
if you it's kind of like, what's that say? Luck is like what, opportunity and timing. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes there is opportunity there. If you can find the right keywords, you can really drive a great business too.
Absolutely. And I think it's like shots on goal too. It used to be
Yeah.
that you had to spend like months to build one idea, but now with our tech stack that we champion, Flutter, Firebase, Revenue Cat, we have people
Nice, bro.
spinning up ideas every 3 weeks. And then like when they spin up these ideas, they can quickly see the traction. They can see if people are searching for it. They can see if downloads are coming in within the first, week or two. They let a few ideas go into the App Store and marinate and let App Store kind of rank them up. and then they go all in on the one that's working. So like your shots on goal can increase nowadays too. You can launch more apps quickly.
Yeah.
But man, that's incredible money that you're talking about. I have an app that's on the App Store. It's called Virally. At one point, just straight organic, it was making like 2,500 a month, and I've only
Yeah.
maybe updated it like 4 times since
Nice, dude.
I launched it. Though it's come down significantly, but
Yeah.
that's why I tell all my builders, like, people come in and you probably seen this, but they try to build everything for everyone. But then
Yeah.
you end up becoming nothing for no one. We all know
Mhm.
this. But they think, hey, oh, my app is for anybody who wants to track their, fitness goals. But I'm like,
Mhm.
no, we need to think about like a really tight niche, like South Indian vegan bodybuilders who want to track their diets, right? Like it needs to be something super long tail because
I
that's
love
what
it.
will rank up in search and that's what's going to make people trust you more. Your conversion rate will be better. Do you agree with that? Have you ever seen
Absolutely, dude.
like what advice would
Absolutely.
you give entrepreneurs who are launching an app and they want to get up on that app store search when it comes to like niching and really thinking about your target audience?
Like, here's what I love about the niche, right? Like, it's because if you, here's the example I use. If you, because we work with so many meditation apps, right? Like, there's, everybody wants to build a meditation app. But if you think about anxiety relief, I know that search score has about 30, and roughly around there. And that is, you might think, oh man, that's such a niche keyword. But you know what? Somebody searching for meditation, it might be a vitamin. Hey, I'm feeling great, but I've heard about this meditation thing and I want to start exploring it. But somebody looking for anxiety relief, that person has a real problem. And if your app can solve that real problem, they're more likely to pay you. And so that's what we found. The more niche the keyword, the higher the conversion rates are. And for one of our clients that we work with, making $150,000 a month. Now they're a bigger company. They're not just one like solo founder, but one of their apps is their biggest app, making $150,000 a month, just with a couple of different keywords, a hard paywall, and about $30 a year pricing. And so it shows you, and that it's a category that I'm like, I would have never thought about building an app for that particular category. But it goes to like, because you're making it so easy for developers to make apps, you really have to just do that research. And I completely agree with you, man. The more niche you are, I'm only talking about app marketing. I don't talk about marketing in general, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the only niche I have. But what we found is when they come to us, they're more likely to convert because I'm only talking about app marketing. And most people want specialists.
Yeah. You mentioned something that I cannot drill into my builders enough, which is you saw that meditation apps and anxiety relief are the same product. They're just attacking the person differently.
I know.
One is very painful, like anxiety sucks. And like it's the same exact product. You're just attacking the anxiety angle. And that drills into one's emotions and that gets to activate that buying behavior. What's hard for my builders sometimes is they're all developed like they're very logical thinkers. They're builders and they struggle
Yeah.
to think like marketers. And
Right.
marketers are amazing at attacking your pain, right? Like think about the weight loss and like the supplement market. They crush your soul to get you to purchase. And we have to be okay with that as marketers or as builders. It feels really odd sometimes to like come after somebody's like anxiety, insecurity, but like hey, you got to just get a little uncomfortable with your marketing so that you can attack those angles.
Here's what I
Um,
learned too from a sales perspective, especially for those who are not into sales. It's
mhm.
like, do you believe in your product? Do you believe that your product can solve this problem? Then it's an injustice to the world if you're not trying to provide it and trying to sell it. Like, that's it. It's that simple. Like, if you don't believe in it, don't try to sell it to me then. I won't buy it. But if you believe in it, I'm not trying to tell you to scam people. I'm saying if you truly believe in your product, you got to own your worth, right? And a lot of times, I get this sometimes now, like people want free advice. I'm like, bro, I don't have enough time to give you free advice. I did 12 when I first started. You could talk to me for free all the time. That's when I was hustling. But at this point in my career, it's like, no, I don't. Time is my precious commodity. So like, I'm happy you have to pay me. And for me at this stage, I'm like, I'm happy to pay you if I want to talk to you, right? Like, and so anyways, that's just like, that's my way of saying like, you have to know your worth. If you built an app and you put your hard earned effort, sweat into this app, why shouldn't you get paid for it? If you're not scamming people and you truly believe it can help people, why shouldn't you get paid for that then?
So, do you feel that way when it comes to people pricing their app too? Because I've seen people work so
Absolutely,
hard on
bro.
an app and then they go, "Oh, we're going to charge $2.99 a month or
Yeah,
$4.99 a
absolutely.
month."
Absolutely. I mean, I've got many case studies. One of I have a community of my own too. We did a YouTube live stream about this, but he increased his price from $20 a year to $30 a year, and he saw, Lim, get this, he saw an increase in sale, obviously, because he's making more, but he also saw an increase in conversions.
Wow.
Like conversions went up when he increased the price, which was a shocking number. And so and he was charging 20 for years. And then he's like, fine, oh, what would happen if I charge more? And we're trying to run that test too right now for one of our apps.
Absolutely. That's really, really cool. I think even just like if you think about inflation and stuff, it's like $5 is the new $1 bill and like $20 is the
Yeah,
new
for
$10
real.
bill. Like there's just so much going on there. And I agree. Like we built a sales app, like an app that helps you close more deals.
Yeah,
And
nice.
it's an AI sales training app, and we started at 9.99, but then we noticed that everybody was canceling who purchased at 9.99. But then we tested 19.99. Less people converted, but less people also canceled. And so we were like, maybe the 19.99 is attracting like bigger pocket buyers, people who are more serious about sales, and like they can fork up $20 a month into their budget rather than somebody who's just trying to like snipe $10 really quickly, and
Yeah.
that's like, a very significant portion of their monthly budget.
I've heard
Um,
very similar stories from other developers too.
for sure. I guess one question I have for you, Steve, you've scaled and you've been part of many successful apps that are making significant amounts of money. Do people care what technology stack the app is built in?
No, get out of here. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody knows and nobody cares, right? As long as the app is smooth to use, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. That's something we see so many times. Like when people come talk to us to come build, they're like, "Oh, but my app needs this, and my app needs to be built in JavaScript, or it needs to be built in Kotlin." And like, we're just like, bro, nobody cares what your app is built in. They don't know what technology stack you're using. They just care if the app gets
Works.
built. I was watching one of your interviews last night, Steve, and the guy, I forgot exactly, but he was doing like 5 or 6 thousand a month, and his app was built in Adalo, which is a Flutterflow competitor,
Mm,
and you can build an app just like that by dragging and dropping, pointing and clicking. Um,
yeah.
so you say no, people don't care what
No,
technology stack.
no, it doesn't matter. I mean, I started with this platform too. It's now obsolete, but nobody cares. As long as it works well and smooth and seamless, then that's all that people generally care about too.
Right on.
Yeah, my website's built on WordPress still. When we went to like Webflow, I hated it. I'm like, who gives a crap?
Who gives a crap? No, for
Yeah.
sure. Um, we got Nick on. Nick,
What's
what's
up,
going on,
Nick?
man?
Hey guys, I see Phileem. How are you?
Good, man.
Good, 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 good.
We are live on YouTube, and I'm glad that you jumped in. So, Nick, I'd love for you to meet Steve. I know I recommended you a lot of Steve's content like while you were building with us. So this is a really cool full circle moment to come back to Steve and be able to learn from him live. Nick, I would love
Yeah,
for you to introduce yourself to Steve and tell him like what your background is and then like where you are today with your app.
Steve, I'm a huge fan. A lot of what you'll see for the onboarding process is the videos that you posted on apps that are similar to mine and what the apps that are successful.
Nice.
So just keep that in mind when we're ripping the onboarding process apart. But my name's
You
Nick.
told me to do that, dude.
My name's Nick. I live outside of Philadelphia. I am 34 years old, and I spent 10 years in like the corporate world working for a health institution in their marketing department. I had an idea for an app that's based off a system that I started 4 years ago with my dad. I always was trying to get in shape, but could never figure out how. It was always trying and then failing, burnout, and then being too intimidated to start again. So finally, I decided that I was just going to create a Google shared doc where I would focus on a weekly goal to hit each week. So like a base number of minutes. And then knowing I wouldn't stay accountable to that, I looped in my dad and I said, you pick a number of minutes as well. And then if you don't hit your goal, you have to Venmo me. If I don't hit my goal, I have to Venmo you. But we were picking base numbers. Like I picked 2 hours and 15 minutes and he picked an hour and a half. So we weren't just going to be shoveling money back and forth. And both of us fell in love with the process. And in 18 months, I lost 40 pounds and he lost close to 30. And yeah, and it's been 3 years since we lost all that weight and pretty much have been living healthier lives easily ever since. So then I decided to transform this idea into an app, which is now Compete NJ.
Nice. Congrats, man. Congrats
Thank
on all
you.
of that.
Thank you.
So, Steve, before we jump in and I let Nick demo you here, like, I would love to hear from you before I try to conclude. What are the key components to building a successful app? A lot of builders try to overcomplicate it, but having studied thousands of apps, um, there is a very consistent pattern amongst them all. I think you know where I'm going with this, but like, what are the three components of like getting an app into the store that can make money?
Well, look, you got to solve a real problem, right? And then I love those stories like Nick had. He's like, look, I had this problem. Nick, same with me, right? When I started this journey, I had this problem. I wanted to learn more about how to grow apps. So I just talked to the people that had done it and try to learn from them and share it publicly through a podcast. And then, a year or two later, I became an expert. And I was like, all I was doing was learning with you guys. That's all I was doing. And so solving a real problem, Lim. And then secondly, like, I think understanding marketing. Like, obviously we're going to do through the paywalls, so like having that structure in place, where what is the onboarding flow? Onboarding needs to almost be its own app, right? In a way where it's like, okay, I really need to bring them on, because unlike a web user, like a YouTube viewer, right, where there's going to be consistent, right? They're going to come back, they're going to watch, and then they might work with you. An app, they're more likely to pay you right when they download, when they open that first time user experience. So you have to try to get them to buy during that first time user experience. Then ultimately, it's like, what is the right channel for you? I know we talk a lot about ASO, but ASO, and for you, Nick, ASO might not, probably not going to be as important. I've worked with a couple of different apps like this. It's not going to be as important for you because nobody's searching for something like this. So you're going to have to find, where can I get people like this? Because Nick, I'm sure you're finding if you can get one, that K factor, you're probably going to get, they're going to probably bring 2 or 3 more people onto your app. And so then you're going to have to figure out what channel. And then for me, what I've learned through my, Nick, I'm 45. I just turned 45, bro. So like
Nice. Happy
what I've
birthday.
learned through this journey is just like and I quit my job and I started the job when I was about to turn 34. But anyways, what I've learned is the more simple you can keep things, the better. I think especially a lot of bootstrap entrepreneurs, they like complicate it. They're trying to do too much and they're one person. And so coming back to the basics of, all right, what is the thing that's working for me? For me, I always start off with ASO and ASA. That's it. Keep it very simple. Like, should I do meta? Did I do this? Meta, it's its own headache. Like, so keep it as simple as possible and just those three. For me, that's the only three that I pay attention to. Where am I getting those downloads? How am I converting those downloads? And then how long are they staying? And then am I solving a real problem? Business is just a simple math problem.
Business is
Awesome.
just a simple math problem for sure. Steve, I know you've said this stat in your YouTube videos. What percentage of users purchase during the first time user experience?
60 to 80%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I can't stress that figure enough. That means 60 to 80% of people are using, or are not 60 to 80% of people are paying for your app before they even really get to see all the features of your app.
Yep. That's correct. That's the best way of saying it. Yeah. And get this, the stat, and this is still holding true. Only 25% of the people who opened your app for the first time come back the second time.
Wow.
So you get 100 people to open your app, only 25% will open it. Only 25 will open it again. That's how important it is to try to convert them during that first time user experience. Now, every app is different, but for most apps, this is usually the case.
Right on. All right, Nick, I'll let you guide me here. I got my phone shared. Feel free to walk me through, and Steve will rip your onboarding flow apart. Hopefully, gives you some good feedback.
So, can I hold here, Len,
Yeah.
Nick? So, Nick, somebody share this too. What I would do is have more people, and I'm going to test this with our screenshots. So, somebody share this screenshot case study. They had like a person's face. Like we're all humans, right? Like we like seeing people.
Yeah.
We like seeing humans. And so they tested this where they have an attractive female being like right here, it's big, and she's got a reaction. So I might do that with your app. Like if it's going to be tailored to more men who love to compete in challenges like this, try to add in like a human component, somebody big and bold, maybe you and your dad like competing together, like two people racing together, but like real humans and real
Right, right.
faces. I think that would help with some of the screenshots here.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. When I saw the case study, dude, I was like, oh, we got to test this right away. Like, I'm game. So usually I don't like testing screenshots because most of the time it doesn't make that big of a difference most of the time. So, all right. Shall we open the app? Yeah, let's do it. Nice, dude. Yep. Okay. I know with fitness apps, Nick, the cool thing is community is huge. So one of our clients previously, they had the screenshot and they tested out the different orders, but they found that having community in one of the first 3 screenshots increased downloads. So I know with fitness, community is a huge thing for us.
What would you say? How could I implement community?
I mean, you kind of have it already because of it's the competing aspect of it, but like maybe just friends, work out with friends type of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
All right. I'll satisfy you the current level of fitness. Okay. Cool. Like it. Love it. Do people just listen to this or are they watching? Because then I can explain what's going on. Recall a time when you were in a good routine. Why did it end? Love it. So Nick's asking a lot of questions, which is great, especially for fitness apps. You do want to do this.
Yeah. So the thing I coached Nick on was like attacking the pain, just like you were saying with the whole anxiety versus meditation app. Nick probably wasn't here for that particular piece, but Nick here is asking questions that make the user feel like they have a problem and admit to themselves that they have a painful problem. So Nick here has, options like fear of failure or burnout, feeling like there's not enough hours in the day, healthy choices, meaning delayed rewards, making motivation challenging. So he's really trying to get the user to read to themselves, oh shit, I have these, really painful problems, so that he can build the case for the paywall.
Love. Oh, Nick, before and afters too. I was just looking at the client's screenshots. Before and afters are huge too, obviously. Okay. Recall a time when you were in a good routine. Why did it end? Okay. Love it.
I mean, the before and after I think is a game changer. We definitely write that one down, Nick. I think that's a good one.
Where are you most excited in achieving? Building on success. Yep. Finding motivation. Nick, are you tracking these? Like kind of seeing?
Yeah, so I have a couple screens from now. I'll ask you to pick a weekly goal, and based on those answers, it will. I have different screens so if someone's very satisfied with where they're at right now, it will show them like how they, what kind of weekly goal they should pick, versus someone who's not satisfied or struggling.
Right. Love this. So here's what we found, and this is the same fitness app that I'm talking about. What we did was we showed the paywall before we forced them to sign up. So it was a hard paywall, Nick. That just means there's no X. You can't X out of it. You got to leave the app. And so it was a hard paywall with a hard sign up, kind of like what yours is, which means I have to sign up. So when we switched the two, all we did was we had an onboarding, just like you did, and then we just flipped it. We went from account creation to paywall to paywall, then account creation. We saw a 52% increase in sales. And that app was doing, close to 10,000 at the time. So it worked really well. The other thing I would say on this page is I had this like hypothesis that I was like, sign up seems like it's a new thing. Like I'm creating a new account. And I was like, what if I just change it to continue with? Because then it feels like I'm just already on the journey. Sign up is like, I got to start the engine, whereas continue with says I'm already driving. So when we tested this, sign up with Google, sign up with Apple, to continue with Google, continue with Apple, we saw an 11% increase in signups. So that's just a little, I love those little things where I'm like, oh, I did was change the text. And I was like, I got more. Okay, cool.
And so, Steve, when you said tracking, did you also mean like tracking the conversion rate funnel report in Mixpanel?
No. So like, Nick, what I would want is what we found with another client was if they said, hey, I want to be accountable and I need that other partner. So like it was a mindfulness app that we were working with. And what they found was, or to our earlier point, Nick, you missed this, but like when people selected, they said, what are you here for? What can we help you with the most? It could be like sleep, meditation, feeling better, anxiety, stress, right? We found that when they picked anxiety, we had the highest trial start rate. And so that's what I meant by, are you tracking this? Because what you can do is like, oh, this informs your marketing, right? And so what did we do? We went after that keyword. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, since that helps, then let's go after that particular keyword. For you, I mean, I love the name Compete. I'm just worried about like from an ASO perspective, like don't think a lot of people are searching for this. They're looking for like ab workouts, push-up
Right.
workouts, plank challenges and stuff like that. Not a lot of people are like compete with my friends, work out with my friends type of thing. So that's the only downside.
Hmm. That was a game changer for me. Like I never thought of that. Like take the like measure the selection during your onboarding flow and see which one is converting the best. I had not thought about that. Um,
Bro, like this is what, I grew up in the Bay Area, so like you weren't supposed to do an agency. You're supposed to build, apply to Y Combinator,
yeah.
build this like tech startup. And I mean, this wasn't the route that I would have picked when I first started this journey. It was
Mhm.
just the route that was honestly like that's what people wanted from me. They were like, help me with my app launch, help me with my app launch. But this is a long way of saying like I'm so grateful that I do have an agency because I would have never known too unless a client told me and shared that data with us. And I was like, oh, and I've gotten to be a way better marketer because some of the clients have shared a lot of different information with me too. And that goes to like building a platform, sharing good stuff because it builds good karma, I guess. And
Yeah.
then people just start sharing stuff with you back.
Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
on that point, like, I think there is advantages of working with agencies as well because y'all have your hands in so many different industries and niches and you're testing on behalf of others. And so, you have a lot of insight into what's working for others.
Yeah.
We work with a couple agencies and we always love it. And I think Nick could say the
Yeah.
same about like, our community is like we're building hundreds of apps at one time and we get to see what's working for each other and what's not. And so a lot of people are like sharing their mistakes in real time. But
Community
cool.
is huge, man.
Yeah.
Community is huge.
Let's keep moving here. And Nick, how should I sign up?
If you want to sign up, and then there's a trial, so you can sign up and then
Nice. I'm just
cancel
gonna
it
go with
afterwards.
Apple here. I hope I don't already have an account with this email because I know I've signed up for your app before. Oh, there we go. Nice.
Perfect.
Nice, dude. That's beautiful.
You've
I like
changed the
this.
paywall. It was different last time. Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely a work in progress. If Aline were to show you what it was when I was um, mid ambitious labs course, it was pretty bad.
I like it, man. So the only other thing that I would try out, and we're seeing pretty good results with this, Nick. Oh shoot, I needed that tab. Oh well. Let me. I hate tabs, by the way.
Command Shift T. I recently found that one out.
Command Shift key.
Command Shift T as in Tom. It brings back the tab that you closed.
Oh, okay. No, I just went to a new browser. But let me show
Oh,
you this real quick. Um, and I think this is pretty easy to implement. We're seeing good results with our app. Some apps we're seeing better. I think generally speaking, it'll work better. So can I share my screen?
absolutely. Do you see the share button?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, Pro, Liam. Come on now.
Oh yeah, you're a Riverside king.
Yeah. All right. So this is one app that is getting, I know the founders, they're getting 22% conversion rate, start trial rate, which is huge,
Yeah.
especially for a soft paywall where there's an X. All right. So I'm going to break it down, but here's what obviously they have this too. So Nick, if you to sign up, keep it. Like don't change it. I'm just sharing that data with you. Like I wouldn't want you to change anything yet, right? For me, like I like to change the little things, the simpler things first and the
Mhm.
harder things later. That's just my MO. Okay. What I do also want to point out to the audience is look, if this might be good enough, this is good enough for MMP, like a mobile measurement partner. If you're not sure where your customers are coming from, just ask. That's all you got to do. And it is
Oh, I
good
like that.
enough for now. So the main thing is a couple of things I like about this flow. They ask you to, so it's a recipe keeper, right? They're asking you, they get like, hey, you can import it. You want to try it? Sure. They give me four that they know probably work really well
Mhm.
seamlessly, and then they allowed me to skip. Right. So I picked one. It loaded. Boom. I was like, that's so cool. I
Yeah.
imported pretty quickly. They asked me for a review. Great, because they got a win moment. Right. I was like, wow, that's cool. There's confetti, and then they asked me for a review. So that works too. Organize the recipes. I'm ready. Here's what I want to try out, Nick. So even if you don't do this screen where you remind users, we offer 14 days for free so that everyone can compete with your friends so that you can start your weight loss journey. And then hit them with the paywall. And that generally works a little bit better too.
Yeah.
Just that one little screen right before that.
That's really
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Because
Do you
it
think
takes
that
it
so I
takes
was
what
gonna-
you have right now, kind of, right, Nick? Kind of
Mhm.
like you're modeling this Blinkist paywall, which everybody kind of knew about, and I think it makes it a little bit better. For me, it's better and it's working better too.
Steve, do you
versus-
think this would be a good opportunity to do like a before and after as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It would be like we offer something so everyone could cook or everyone work out would compete. You can have a before and after photo right here. And then, or, you can have something like you ready to see your transformation. We'd love to add you here. Right. And then maybe it's a
Ooh.
before and after type of thing, Nick, where there's a face right here. And then here's the before and here's the face. And then you go, okay, let's go. So maybe
Nice. Yeah.
that's just brainstorming. Great job, Owen. That was yours. I won't take credit for that. Okay.
No, that's awesome.
All right. I'll stop sharing.
I'm not sure if I'm back on here. Awesome. Cool. I'm back on. So one thing that I've tried to work with Nick on here is the 14-day free trial. Steve, like industry is typically 3 and 7, right? What's your opinion on free trials?
Yeah, I think I can't remember what our client did, but it depends on the app. I'm okay with it right now. What I would do, Nick, is just only make it on the yearly because it's $40.
Okay.
It's not like super expensive. And so just put it on the yearly, take it away from the monthly. But I mean, test it. I've typically 7 works the best. What we found is longer trial periods tend to have lower trial to paid, so less people paying you ultimately.
Mhm.
The button that I would use is there's a couple of things that you would do here. Instead of free trial, then blah, blah, just put continue. And then underneath that, put no payment now. So we found that continue works better than start free trial on iOS. On Android, start free trial works better. But adding the text right above your other plans, or maybe right above that text, other plans, put no payment now. That increased conversions for another client by 30%. So those simple little text changes are things that I look forward to. And then Nick, what I would do is just increase the monthly price, like to like $6.99, so that the yearly looks so much more attractive.
Yeah, because the monthly surprisingly gets way more users than annual right now, even though it's more monthly.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. Say that one more time, Nick.
Right now, the monthly is people are subscribing monthly way more than they're subscribing annually.
Okay. Yeah. Try it. So that's what happened with our client. So they had a 30-day trial, Nick, on their monthly for $15. And it was making, close to, I mean, they were, I think, above like 15,000 a month. That was the only option you could buy. Yeah. It was a niche app, right? So back to our niche topic from earlier. What we did was I added the yearly for $70 7-day trial, and we removed the trial on the $15 monthly fee. Okay. And that's when we like 2x. Now, do we get less people paying us? Yes. But we went above like 25 and then ultimately $28,000 a month. Just that simple change to get more money in the door. Because people are cheap. Of course, I'm going to pick the lower option. And plus, there's no difference here. I get the same thing and I get to pay you less, Nick.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. And with fitness apps, I think you want the right customer because you want people to come back and you want the statistics. You want to help people generally, with the app, and people who are willing to pay more are more invested in the app.
Yeah. Nick, one thing I want to educate Steve on is like what our tech stack is at Ambitious Labs. And so we built this app with Flutter, Firebase, Revenue Cat. And if you have any APIs, we typically are using a backend builder called BuildShip. But Nick, like, do you have any coding experience or do you know how to code?
I don't. No.
But you built all this yourself.
Yes, with the help of Ambitious Labs and their coaches.
Well, not looking for too much credit here. But my point is like, you now have all the skills to like build this yourself, but the tools that you used were uh, easy enough to where you could pick it up on your own. Can you talk about your experience coming from like no technical background to actually learning full stack development? Would love to tell Steve about, what it was like for you.
Yeah, so with no coding experience and having the idea pop in my head, I spent probably a month going on YouTube and circling different videos, trying to build it myself because I found out about Flutterflow. So I knew it was possible, but I really was just spinning in circles until I was able to join Ambitious Labs and get like coaching one-on-one and saying like, this is what you need to do. And they say as you move forward, the fog clears, and that's kind of like what happened. Was it looked so hard to do, and like everyone's building an app is so impossible. But with AI and no code platforms out there like Flutterflow, and then like the videos on YouTube and you guys sharing your knowledge, it's certainly doable. Yeah. And then in terms of APIs and like build ship, they're definitely doable as well. They're probably a little bit harder than like Flutterflow. There's some more coding involved, but there's ChatGPT and there's other AI tools to help you. And I even like Flutterflow is just like completely different than what it was a year ago. And build ship, same thing. They're completely innovating and answering questions to their customers like myself who have no experience at all, and kind of shifting how things are done. I don't want to say the people who are less experienced or not experienced at all, like myself.
For sure. And so when you combine like the tools now with Steve's components, like an onboarding flow, a funnel, a paywall, a core app loop that keeps users coming back, like I had a kid yesterday at the gym. He saw me and he was like, "Hey, I've seen your ads about, teaching people how to build apps. Do you think I should get into apps, or do you think I should get into drop shipping or Shopify or trading crypto?" I'll let Steve answer that. Steve, what answer would you give that kid? He was 18-year-olds about to graduate high school.
Yeah, no, don't do any of that crap. Like drop shipping was so freaking popular. Like people I followed, they went from apps to drop shipping and then now back to apps. Like it is a hard, and especially with all the tariff stuff, like it's taken a hit on a lot of freaking businesses. I don't think it's sustainable. The margins are tiny. Like what I would do, apps are the way to go. Like apps are digital courses, like something digital that is interesting. It's just the margins are too small for drop shipping. And crypto, like, look, I'm not a fan of crypto, but that's just my opinion. I don't understand it. It's been around for a long time now. And you think, look how quickly AI took off. Look how quickly apps took off. Like you see a trend, right? You don't need to tell people. It just happens so fast. Like you immediately get it. In crypto, I was like, I don't immediately get it. That means there's going to take a long journey for them to get it, right? And so I would say, bro, like apps, man. And that's not just because I'm in this space. I just see the opportunities. And if you just need a couple of thousand, like I know I have people from all over the world. And so $2,000 to $3,000 a month for them, amazing. Like that's great living. And that's what the opportunity if I just needed $3,000 a month with apps, bro, like I'm already there, but unfortunately I live in California. And so I need more than that. But if I was, in freaking Bali, that'd be enough for me. So anyways, I would totally get into apps. And that's why you see like Vietnam, Turkey, like all these other countries get just like pouring money into the app ecosystem as well.
Huge. And apps also are like hard skills, right? Like you're learning full stack software development. Whether you build an app for yourself, you can go get a job as an app developer, make in California $200K a year, anywhere else 80, 90, 100K a year working remote. So I think
it's cooler to say too. Right, Nick? Yeah. Hey, I've got an app. Are you married, Nick?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Are you married?
No.
Oh, okay. That's dating life improved because you're an app developer now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It definitely feels good. And to your point, the scalability of apps versus getting yourself into some another avenue of making revenue is kind of night or day. It's because someone in like people in California, people in Paris, people in wherever.
Yeah.
Australia can download my app and I can make revenue that way. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely happy with the choices I've made within the last year or so.
That's cool, man.
Well, guys, thank you so much. This was a ton of fun, really full circle moment. Steve, I really appreciate your time. Nick, you got any questions for Steve while you got him?
No, I'm definitely going to review the video. I appreciate all the feedback. I have a lot of work to consider and think about, and but it's all exciting stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, keep me posted, man. I'd love to have you
Will
on,
do.
and like as you grow, just keep me posted. And once it becomes a level where you feel like it's a success, I'd love to have you on too.
Perfect. I'll take you up on that. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, man.
And that reminds me, Steve. So, Ambitious Labs is where people come to build apps, but once they launch apps, they can come to you to help you or to get help marketing. Can you tell our audience more about how you can help them once they've launched their app?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can help you get more downloads, more revenues. We kind of do audits like this. But what I always say is just check out our YouTube channel. Go through that free content first. Make sure you like what I'm saying and make sure it works. And then reach out to us. Go to appmasters.com if you want to work with us.
Right on. Everything Steve says on his YouTube works, and he has probably the meatiest app development content on the internet. So thank you, Steve, for doing what you do. I know YouTube's a grind as a YouTuber as well. And some days, you wake up and you're like, damn, I got to make another YouTube video. But I just want you to know every single one of your videos, I've watched at least 10% over 20% of. So thank you for doing what you do, man.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Cool. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description. Steve, thank you so much. We'll be in touch. And Nick, I appreciate you too, man.
Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Steve.
Later, man.